We are here to introduce to you our Field Study 1 students, and they are going to share to us the things that they've learned from their observations.
As we are doing our learning observations, we noticed that when the learning environment is peaceful, the learners can effectively learn. They can easily catch up with the information given to them by their teacher, and we can clearly conclude that schools and classrooms plays a vital role in the students' learning. Before, we learned that both in child and adolescent and facilitating learning, that every learner is diverse from each other. But in our observation, if they have a safe and secure classroom, they can fully focus on their learning, that despite their differences, it helps them a lot to acquire the needed knowledge. Another thing that we observe is that the kind of school campus that is conducive to learning is to have a friendly environment. The school campus must give the students security from any factors that might distract them from learning. And for classrooms is to have people that will accept them for who they are and are willing to give them chance to show the things that they are capable of. There are a lot of factors to consider to have an effective learning environment, and in order for us to have that kind of environment, it will take a lot of courage and knowledge to build a conducive learning environment for the students. And as a future educators, we are all ready to take the challenge.
Elementary learners, specifically at the age of 10 and 11, they most likely to function well when they are included in a group. So, teachers must give importance to group works or activities that stimulate social interaction and also expect a classroom of interactive learners. On the other hand, high school learners, especially at the age of 12 and 13, most likely prefer to do tasks independently or execute tasks with people they are comfortable with. They most likely focus to what their passion or interest align. Therefore, their educator should respect the student's decision to work independently if he requests to do so, but encouraging interaction with their classmates is still important so that they can form and function as a whole group in a class. Teachers must also empower her pupils to enroll in clubs and organizations that could develop furthermore what is aligned to their interest. As I was observing these learners, I can see my past self while watching them. I have observed that they have more social skills than I have back when I was in their age. They were more active than I ever was. Compared to my own experiences before, I think they were a lot more intellectually advanced because of the privileges that technology has given unto them. There was a certain teacher who enlightened me of how music in everything under its broad structure works. Even though some of it was just an overview, she was able to explain it to me very well, which I actually understood. I hated the music subject back then due to its complicated theories, but I eventually loved it because of her. She basically opened opportunities for me to study and pursue this passion of mine. Actually, she was just one of the teachers that I adored back in times. There are still many teachers that were engraved in my heart that made me pursue this profession, which is teaching.
As we observe, classroom organization and routines affect the learner's behavior by making the students participate in class. The teacher thinks the effect of the learners whether the outcome is effective or not. It needs to be familiar with educational theory and principles of teaching. The behavior strategy that is effective in managing the learners is giving reinforcement when they are doing good in class. In the future, we imagine ourselves handling grade 2 students. We will do routines and procedures that are appropriate for the age group. For example, we will teach them to pray first and foremost when class begins. We would also suggest having storytelling session. In this way, we can get their attention and slowly work to the topic so they don't get carried away. To have a meaningful organization, these are the rules you're likely to implement. First, be on time. Second, follow directions. Third, raise your hand if you want to speak. Fourth, no drinks and food allowed in the class discussion. We choose these 4 rules because we would like to have unity and good relationship between students and teachers. Do you think students involved in making the class rules? Yes, it is to develop leadership skills and teach the value of responsible behavior.
As I observe, both the teacher and students play key roles in the relationship and interaction in the classroom. The teacher is the one who guides and leads the class, and the students are the ones who listen and do the assigned tasks. In times of the absence of the teacher, the class mayor is the one who acts as leader to organize and manage the class. And there are also students who act as joker to boost the energy of the class. All students are accepted despite their diversity. What I observe is that they know how to mingle with each other by letting their classmates join their group either inside or outside the classroom. And they also answer each other's queries. In the teaching and learning process, one of the most common form of interaction is by asking questions. So I observed that the teacher let her students participate, especially during class discussions, by asking relevant questions and applying different strategies, techniques, or methods considering their differences. Also, the teacher manifests a fair value inside the classroom. The groupings of learners outside the classroom can be influenced by lots of factors. Those are choice of friends or their peers and their personality. So mostly students hang out with those that have the same interest as them. They go to where they are comfortable with. In the future, I want my classroom environment to be conducive to learning, wherein students are able to enjoy and at the same time learn in the teaching process. So I want them to participate in class by sharing their ideas and their knowledge, and also encouraging them to positively interact with each other by showing respect and understanding.
Students are all different in their own ways, and all that unique individuality colors a 4-wall classroom. In the 5th episode entitled Individual Differences and Learners' Interaction, we, as observers, gradually understand how diversity paves the way to enriching the best learning environment for students. Different family backgrounds, different upbringings and ideology, religion, culture, and most especially different intellectual capacities are what draw each student to interact with others who are different from them in some way. For a teacher, identifying and knowing learners' personality is far more of a challenge and is a relevant part of the vocation. This is because to be an effective teacher, one must know the learner's level of ability academically, artistically, or in some other areas where the learners excel the most. Identifying the learner's academic weaknesses and discovering the right and the most effective learning method for the learner to understand certain topic will not just benefit the learner but also the teacher. Why? Well, it is for the reason that that knowledge will also help the teacher know how to guide the learners to achieve excellence using their greatest strength. Teacher-student face-to-face interaction will always be the best and the most effective way to expose learners to the importance of having a greater understanding of every person's role in the bigger real-world society and also have self-awareness at a very young age.
Upon doing the home visit and the interview, I realized that family factors can contribute to the development and the overall adjustment of the learner in school. For instance, the learner's emotional, moral, cognitive, and social development are greatly affected by what his or her relationship towards his or her parent or primary caregiver is, and also what parenting styles they impose to the child. In addition, the teacher has a role as well in creating a partnership with the student's family so that he or she can bring out the best in every learner. I also figured out that students come from a variety of homes and family structures. Thus, As a teacher in the future, I should initiate good communication strategies to effectively communicate with the guardians of my students so that I can ensure effective disciplines and avoid subjecting parents to information overload. The type of parenting that I experienced was authoritative since my parents were firm and are keen in mentoring my studies. They provide unending support with my endeavors. And due to that, I have grown into a person where I appreciate and do my passion. And I do not neglect anything that is important for me and my future. I have developed reasoning skills which are very useful at the present. I would encourage them to communicate with me directly with regards to the learner. I'll have to show professionalism without any intimidation so I could refrain from having approachability issues from both the learners and their parents. I could provide help in ways I am capable of as long as the parents will give their full trust to collaborate and participate in making the learner's educational environment to be better in ways they are capable.
Thank you, students, and good luck to your next journey.